So now we're going to cleanse the skin. For this you can use rose water, micellar water, which is available in most high street stores. So next I'll be applying Bobbi Brown eye cream on the lids. So this eye cream, it can be applied with your finger, but I prefer to use a brush. This will give you a good base and moisturize any dryness on the eyelid area. Once the eye cream's all blended in nicely into the skin, we will move on to our next step, and that will be applying the serum all over the face. Again, we are sticking with the Bobbi Brown skincare range. Just a few drops all over the face is all you need. I like to use a brush to apply this serum with. This will give your base a nice dewy look. Again, you can use the fingers to apply the serum, but I do prefer a brush. Next, the Bobbi Brown moisturizer, which is enriched with vitamin E. Because of this, I'm not using too much primer. Not a lot of moisturizer was used for this. As I say, the serum was enriched with a lot of vitamin E, and our model had combination skin, so she didn't need too much. Next, I'm using the Bobbi Brown moisturizer. Bear in mind, we're only using a tiny amount for this, as we have applied previous products which are vitamin E and the serum. So for this reason, we don't need too much. Again, our model has combination skin, so a tiny bit will be used. The reason why I'm using a brush, and I prefer to use a brush, it's because it's more hygienic. The makeup, personally, I feel does blend in better, but you can use your fingers. But for this reason, I use a brush due to hygiene. Depending on the neckline you're wearing, you can go below the neck. You can go below your décolletage. All depends on what cut blouse you've got on. So our next step is the illuminator. I'm using one from Krylon in the silver. This gives your final look a glowy, dewy look. Starting off with the décolletage area. Again, not a lot is used. We don't need to. Unless you're going for the really, really dewy look, then by all means do add some more. After the illuminator is applied, we are going to now apply the foundations. With this look, I am using MAC NC42 with NARS Vienna. The colour is called Vienna and the brand is NARS. I will be mixing the two together. You can use both colours, you can mix them depending on your neck colour, the area, the skin colouring. Do a little check before you apply it on the face. As you can see, I'm applying to the chest area. If you find it's too light, add a little bit of the other colour. If it's too dark, vice versa. Guys, you must be thinking, why is she doing the chest area, not the face? It's just preference really. I'd like to get the neck and chest area out the way before I start on the face. Don't forget guys, the secret is to blend, blend, blend. The more you blend, the more flawless your look will look. Next step is our Huda setting spray. Just a few sprays all over the chest area and over the face as well. Give it a few minutes, let it dry. You can let it dry naturally, or if you want to speed up the process, you can use a fan. I'm using the setting spray on the face as a primer, and I'm using it on the neck area, chest area to set the foundation. So next we are applying colour corrector to get rid of those dreaded dark areas on your face, mainly under the eyes. Anywhere you see any dark spots, do use a bit of this concealer. It's by LA Girl in the colour orange and it's available online. A little goes a long way, so try not to go too crazy with it. It all depends on how dark the areas are. Again, the secret is to blend, blend, blend. So now we're applying foundations. I'm using 3 different foundations. The first one is from MAC, that's NC42. The second one is the colour Vienna by NARS. And the third one is Skin Base by Illamasqua. Again, depending on your skin tone, you can mix and match as you please, or whatever skin colour foundation you require. Also, these 3 are very good combination to have in very hot weather, or if you're going to be under camera lights, the heat. They're long lasting and hopefully should stand all day. I'm applying the foundations with a Sigma foundation brush, available online. Always remember to start from the top, work your way down. As you can see, the strokes on the forehead from left to right, but we're going downwards. Be sure to blend into the neck. We know we've applied the foundation already, but just make sure that you've blended the face and the neck together so you don't want to be looking different colours. Just a little tip. If your foundation isn't waterproof, what to do is apply it, leave it for about a minute, then you blend. For the next step, I'm using a very, very slightly damp beauty blender to blend in the foundation on the face. Gentle dabs. Be sure not to soak your blender in too much water. So the next step is your contour. We're using Black Up Contour in shade Dark. This is available online. So as this product is in a solid stick form, I like to scoop a tiny bit out with a metal scoop and put it on my palette and mix it up until it's nice and soft. It will apply better like this, it won't be as harsh. Also will give a natural look to your contour. I'm applying it to the forehead, just the top areas. It all depends on the face shape. Now to the cheekbones. The secret to a good contour is blending, but also leaving enough product on the skin so you can see the shading. Now to the jawline. And you can add to the décolletage area. For the application of the contour, I'm using a Sigma brush. After the application of the contour product, I will now blend it. A good tip is to keep a little tissue handy so that you don't load too much product onto the skin. So after a few strokes, wipe your brush onto the tissue, then repeat blending. Next, contouring the nose. For this, I'm using the same product, however a different brush. It's a blending brush from MAC. As you can see, I'm using very gentle, soft strokes on the nose because I want to give it a very natural look. Now what I like to do is, once I've finished contouring, with this blusher, it's a solid blusher from the company called Milk in colour Work, W-E-R-K. I like to go over the contour with a slight hint of this blush. It gets rid of any harshness, any darkness. This will just soften it, soften the look. Remember, don't use too much. After applying the contour, get your beauty blender and blend in the blush over the contour and on the cheek areas, on the apples of the cheek, just to give yourself a healthy glow. Next step, concealers. For this, I'm using two different concealers, one by Samir Khuzami and one is Shape Tape by Tarte. The Samir Khuzami I'm using is shade 1.5. This has got a yellow undertone, and I'm mixing it with the Fair from the Tarte range. This will give you coverage for any dark circles or anything, even though we have used concealer, but it will give you more coverage. Also will brighten the under eye area. We're applying the concealer. You can use any concealer brush to apply the concealer with. Another little tip, leave the concealer for a minute before you start blending it with your beauty blender. This will give you more of a flawless look, and it's long lasting. After applying concealer to all the areas on the face you want to highlight, get your damp beauty blender and blend. Once again, I'm using the Shape Tape Tarte Concealer in Fair, but this time I'm only using it on the inner corner of the eyes, just to make your eyes pop a little bit. So as you can see, the contour, I haven't fully blended it yet. What I'm going to do now is use MAC's N1 Face and Body Foundation. There's a reason why I haven't blended the contour. You'll see why. So for this next step, I will be using a big powder brush. The softer, the fluffier, the better. Next, we're using the Hot Mama blusher. Bear in mind, this is the base blusher. Apply on the apples of the cheeks. For this, I'm using a soft, fluffy blending brush. After the blusher, we're applying highlighter by MAC in the shade Oh Darling. Again, just over the apple of the cheeks where you've just applied the blusher, add on the highlighter. You can apply the highlighter to any other area on the face you want to highlight. Next step, we are using pressed powders from MAC in the shades NC15, Light Plus and a dark shade, depending on your skin tone. With a small, damp beauty blender, I'm applying Light Plus under the eye area. This will set your concealer. With a brush, I'm applying NC15 and Light Plus mixed together. This will set your makeup, also will highlight the area and give a brightening effect. Apply the darker shade again with a brush over the areas which I'd contoured previously with the Black Up contour in the shade Dark. Finally, with the pressed powders using NC15, I will be applying and brushing and blending all over the face. This is to set the makeup and give it a soft look. Onto the baking. For this we're using two products, Chanel and Marc Jacobs setting powder. In the Marc Jacobs we're using number 34 and in Chanel it's number 20. Pour a little bit onto a palette and mix the two powders together. Using an angled sponge, apply the two mixed powders under the eye area and all the other areas on the face you'd like to highlight. Remember, don't blend, just apply. So, while our model's baking, I'm going to start on the eyebrows. For the eyebrows, we're using two products to start off with. One is from Benefit, it's the Brow Zing in dark brown, and the other is the Brow Gel by Ofra in dark brown. With the spoolie, brush through the brows. This gets rid of any other product and also neatens the eyebrows. Cleaning the brows with the spoolie gives a better application for your brow products. I'm using an angled brush. This is the Ofra eyebrow gel that I'm using in dark brown. start from the bottom of the brow. Try and have a steady hand as possible, following your natural brow line. After applying the brow gel and the brow zinger, I'm finally going to coat the eyebrows with an eye mascara. I'm using one from Benefit. This seals in the product and gives it more of a definition. Next step, we're going to prepare the eyelids for the eyeshadow. For this, I'm using NARS concealer in the colour Creme Brulee. For this, I'm using a concealer brush. Once applying the concealer with a brush, blend out the concealer with a small damp blender. Going back to the MAC Press powders in shades Light Plus and the darker shade, we're going to use these products for the base of the eyeshadow. For this, you can use either a small blending brush or a larger one that I have used. It's just personal preference and I prefer to use a larger one. Starting off with a lighter shade, blending outwards with the dark. Onto the fun step, the eyeshadow. For this look, I'm using the Huda palette. It's called New Nude. For the transition colour, I'm using one of the lighter shades of pink. The reason why I've opted for the colour pink is because it's a lovely contrast to our model's top she's wearing. For this, I'm using a Sigma brush. It's a blending brush, however it's not a soft one. The reason why I'm using more of a coarser bristle is because I want the lines to be sharp. For a sharper look, you use a coarser bristle. And as you can see, I'm holding the brush from the middle, not from the end. If you're doing it from the end, you'll get a more softer look. But for this transition, I want a more sharp look, therefore I'm holding the brush in the middle. So for the second colour, I'm going for a darker shade than the transition colour that we've just used. For this, I'm using the Zoeva brush 224. I've opted for a darker pink, however you can use a brown. Nothing too dark, just slightly darker than your transition shade. With the Zoeva brush, number 224, I'm applying the darker shade on the crease of the eye and I'm gently blending outwards. For our next step, I will be applying a foil eyeshadow from the same palette, from the Huda palette. For this shade, be sure to use a synthetic flat brush. If you use a natural bristle brush, the colour will not apply onto the eye area. Carefully, in upward-downward motions, apply the foil. Be sure to use a little bit of force whilst using the foil for full application. For this, I'm using the E55 brush from Sigma. Next, I'll be highlighting the brow bone. For this, I'm using Oh Darling from the MAC highlight range. For this, I'm using a small pencil brush from Sigma. Next, I'm using the Makeup Forever black gel liner with a small angled brush. Firstly, I'm applying the gel liner on the upper eye area, the inner rim of the eye. Now for the top liner. For that, again, I'm using a small angled brush and we're applying the black gel liner on the top of the lash line. Notice I'm not going all the way to the outer corner, I'm leaving a tiny gap. I'm leaving the gap so that later on, as you will see, I can blend out, and also I will be applying black eyeshadow to give it more of a smoky look. So make sure you don't go all the way to the end of the eye. Now, with a thin pencil brush, with the gap that I said that I was leaving, we're going to smudge out the top liner. This gives a softer look. Once the gel liner is applied, I'm adding Urban Decay's Blackout. It's an eyeshadow. With this, I'll be going over the gel liner. Time for the lashes. Using a lash curler, gently curl your lashes. Apply a little mascara. Anyone will do. Black, preferably waterproof. For this look, I'll be using my own mink lashes. These are available online. Using the transition colour we used on the eyelid, we're going to line the bottom lash line. Using a pencil brush, apply gently. Once you're happy with the blending of the transition shades that you've used on the lower lash line, apply some soft cool black eyeliner. I'm using a very small pencil brush. I'm not using the pencil directly onto the eye area due to hygiene reasons. Also, with the brush, you'll get a softer look. Be sure to blend out the eyeliner straight away. If you leave it too long, you won't be able to blend it out. It will dry and it will just look like a messy solid line. So finish one eye off before you start the other. Once you've blended the pencil liner out, go back to your Huda palette and the second colour that you used on the eyelid, the darker shade of pink, using a Morphe M652 blending brush, apply under the black liner. Add your lower lash line mascara, waterproof in black. Then using a big powder brush, brush away the baking powder. Our next step is the setting spray. For this, I'm using the Anastasia Dewy Set setting spray. Using a fan, dry the setting spray onto the skin. Try not to laugh or you'll see the crinkles in your face. To make the eyes pop, we're using NARS's Illuminizing Powder in the shade Orgasm. Just apply a little bit to the inner corner of the eyes. After highlighting the inner corner of the eyes, we're going to blush the cheeks. I'm using MAC blusher in a pink shade. I'm using a NARS blusher brush for this. Once you're happy with the application of the blusher, apply some highlighter. I'm using a large flat brush to highlight the cheekbones. Apply the highlighter on the forehead, on the bridge of the nose and on the cupid's bow on the lips. And for that extra shimmer, I'm adding Too Faced Canary Diamond Highlighter. And finally for the lips, I'm using a nudie pink colour from the Jeffree Star range. Using a lip brush, apply the lipstick. Et voila! And that's today's look. I like to call it the Popping Pink Party Look by myself, Sukhi Sanghera at Asiana Bridal Training Academy. For more details and to find out more about this look, check out the description of this video. If you want to find out more about tutorials, courses or bookings, don't be shy to call. Thanks for watching.